Welcome to Go Rangers Radio, where the New York Rangers are always the talk of the town. If you bleed red, white, and Rangers blue, hail the king, follow the bread man, and know how to spell Capo Caco, then you've tuned to the right place. And now, here are your handsome hosts, Kevin DeLury and Paul Cuthbert. They're not always going to get it right, but you can be damn sure they'll pretend they are. Now, let's go Rangers Radio.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Go Rangers Radio. Broadcasting live from the Go Hockey Media Studios in New York, baby. Yours truly, Mr. Paul Cuthbert. And everybody, please say hello to your friend of mine, Mr. Kevin DeLury. KD, what's your temperature like, baby?
I don't know, man. I'm just like numb. I think I'm just numb at this point to everything. Like everybody else, I'm just like in the movie Groundhog's Day. It's the same thing every day.
No, seriously, I need your temperature. I can't do the show unless
You won't let me begin?
I
need one of those like scanners where they like scan your forehead or whatever it is, that they have over in China.
You have a fever, buddy. Sorry, we can't do this, man. What's going on, man? Hey, welcome aboard, everybody. It is time for another Go Rangers. Episode 27, baby. Look at us, still going. Rangers aren't, but we are. It's April 8th. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's doing okay. I'm all right.
This should be a playoff episode.
Well, I mean, I think you've
The
made
playoffs
one.
were supposed to start today.
Well, you made one up,
here
so
we are.
we're going to talk about it, right? You've been doing what the hell's going on in your world, buddy?
Well, this is what happens. I mean, you're sitting around, you're really doing nothing all day. I'm playing with the kids, and I'm getting pretty sick of that and pretty sick of them. And so I got to think of things to pass along the time. So I've decided to conjure up my own little fake playoffs for the Rangers.
Captain's log. Week 5. The beginnings of insanity are beginning, and impatience are beginning to settle in.
I'm telling you, I saw some cracks in my wife today. A little bit of cracks. She's like, it's getting to me. He's like, I don't know if I'm going to make it.
Yeah. Well, you know what I did last night to kind of get away from it all? I watched the war movie.
Great.
I watched people get killed. What else are you going to do? Sonic the Hedgehog 16 times already, and Yogi Bear. I turned my kids on to Yogi Bear. How about that? Huh? I love that. You know Yogi Bear right there, KD.
No, who?
Come on, Yogi Bear.
I'm just kidding. Love the Yog.
Hey, boo-boo.
Good. Hey, boo-boo.
So I turn around. I told you I'm a first grade teacher's aide teacher now every day. And we were finishing up a lesson there yesterday. And I turned around to my son. And I said, nice job there, boo-boo. And he looked at me like I had 3 heads. He goes, what do you mean, boo-boo? So I showed him a clip. A Yogi and Boo Boo, and he laughed his little butt off, and now they're hooked, him and my daughter, so it's good stuff. Those old Hanna-Barbera cartoons, buddy, pretty advanced, I must say. Watch the little Leghorn, whatever his name was.
Foghorn Leghorn, yes, there you go. So, nice. Yeah, I think
advanced.
that's definitely one of the better parts of it is getting the kids into, some of the movies that we used to watch as a kids. I every day with my son, I've been sitting there and we've been going through like the old like kids sport movies. So we've watched Little Giants, Sandlot, Mighty Ducks, and then Bad News Bears. Oh. So, by the way, Bad News Bears, goodness gracious, that movie could not be made today.
No, it couldn't.
Holy cow!
What was the first year the first one came out?
It was 1976. It was the year I was born. 1976. I mean, the language in there, yeah, not in this PC world is that getting through. They got like the best kid, Kelly Leak. He's like 11 and he's smoking cigarettes the whole movie.
Yeah.
My son is like, why is he doing that? I was like, well, back then. He's like, can't he get in trouble for that? I was like, yeah. The coach is Buttermaker's drinking the whole time. He's hitting the kids like during the game. He's like pushing them and and throwing shit at them. You can't get away with that stuff these days. It was amazing. I was watching it. I was just like, oh my goodness, I hadn't watched it in a while.
What was the girl's name?
Oh,
but she was a young actress. What was her real name?
Oh, her real name. Oh, why am I forgetting? And I just watched this the other day.
Something like that?
No. No. Not going to be able to remember.
Yeah, all right. But that was a great movie. Any of you millennials out there,
good.
You got to check it out. It's a riot. Man, we got to go back to the days when there weren't pandemics. Us lucky ones. And I got to tell you, like I said, I feel bad for our kids today and everybody else having to deal with this crap. But alas, we move
Tatum
on.
O'Neal. There
you go. All right.
Sorry.
Good stuff, man.
Gotta love Google.
All right, so let's do some hockey here. You were saying that the playoffs would have started today. So there's two things that you brought to my attention because I know you're telling me you're not doing anything anymore. I've been actually pretty busy. So I didn't see this thing about the NHL talking about playing up in North Dakota. Let's start there, and then we'll have some fun with where you think the playoffs would have been and some of the Fox stuff you've been doing on, and that's FAUX on Twitter. But talk about this thing that came out about the NHL possibly playing games in North Dakota. I looked over the article real quick. What do you think?
Yeah, it seems as though the major sport leagues are all looking to either finish their seasons or, put their playoffs together in one central location. So I think the NBA is talking about going to Vegas, and the NHL now is talking about going to North Dakota. And I guess playing all their games there, maybe not all the games, but at least a large majority of the games there. I guess the facilities that they do have up there are up to the NHL standards of what would be acceptable for them. And because the population density is so low there, I guess the thought process is that, these plays would be at least a little bit safer than if you stuck them in the middle of, wherever, a metropolitan area. Although everybody's in their apartments anyway, it's not like it matters. I mean, you walk around. I mean, I see the video in the middle of Manhattan and there's nobody there, which, Times Square is just like a ghost town. There's tumbleweed flying through. It's like the movie. You ever see that movie, I Am Legend with Will Smith? You ever see that movie?
I sure did, pal.
Yeah, that's like what it's like in Manhattan right now. So I guess they're talking.
I live in New York too, right?
You do.
I've seen the pictures.
Just making sure. You said you were busy. I just wanted to make sure you saw it. So, I guess they're talking about, whether it's a couple of weeks of the regular season to give the teams that were on the bubble a chance to get in, the Rangers being one of them, and then doing the playoffs in this one central location. I mean, it definitely minimizes, the threat. I mean, if you're looking at the way this thing is going, I mean, I can't imagine that they're ever going to be able to just have games with crowds. I mean, which is what they're talking about if they're going to do this thing up in North Dakota. I mean, they're not going to have crowds or fans in the stands there. They want to minimize as much as possible. Look, you're still putting the players at risk and the trainers and the coaches and whoever else you have there on staff.
Well, there you go, buddy. Right there. It's dead in the water. I mean, first of all, when? So let's say they thought everybody is trying to stay positive here, like something magical is going to happen here in June, July, and August, okay? As far as I'm concerned, until there's rapid testing for everyone and a vaccine, nothing is coming back to normal. Okay, so let's just say, for argument's sake, let's say North Dakota, they got rid of all their cases, it's clean or whatever. Let's just take this, for example. Just the logistics alone. 22 players plus coaching staff plus training, everything else, boom. How are you going to get them there? Social distancing, you can't do that. They've all got to get themselves tested before they go, right? So that's number one. Anybody that's involved in the organization, so just even that alone, if you start just thinking, starting with one player, one team, And if Artemi's over in Russia and, Mika's in Sweden or whatever the heck it is, and when you got to bring these guys, how they getting over here, the logistics of this thing right now. And again, this has to be in a perfect world because it's certain, like if it's the status quo like it is right now, KD, it's not happening. It's a pipe dream. And look, I'm in the crowd business. I'm in the music industry. Shows are now starting. I just lost a couple more shows in May. Now shows are big festivals, summer festivals are getting shut down in June. A festival that I performed at last year that is in the third week of July, they just canceled it. So this is not ending anytime soon. And then the other thing with the resources too, how you'd need an ambulatory staff, medical staff for any of these games. Even if there's nobody in the stands, just to play these games out. You're going to need. Are you really going to take resources away from the medical field right now, the healthcare system, the healthcare frontline people? They need everybody. It can't be attending to a sports game that really doesn't mean effing anything right now. Again, you want to stay positive. Yeah, we all miss it. I want it back more than anybody else. But man, there's people dying out there. There's nurses die. It's real shit. Sports right now. It's just not happening. I can't. When you sent that to me, and looking at the headline, could North Dakota be an NHL location for the end of the regular season? I mean, again, we're all going through this for the first time, KD, and yeah, you got to throw this up. There's nothing wrong with discussing it and everything, but man, if you're really watching this thing and logistically and the resources that people need, and it's a pipe dream. I mean, you'd have to. Everything would have to be done. The peak would have to be not only in New York. We don't even know what's going to happen in the middle of the country yet. So, I don't know. I just think it's a pipe dream.
No, I agree with you. I mean, I do appreciate that Bettman and the NHL at least looking at avenues of possibilities in the event that this thing, for whatever reason, we can, we're all social distancing and we can, obviously not going to put a stop to it, but we can get it to a point of where, maybe we can start it up. And most likely, if you start it up, it's going to come back anyway.
And you're going to need at least almost 2 to 3 weeks of training camp to get everybody back in condition.
Yeah. No, look, like I said, I agree with you. I at the end of the day, it probably won't come together. But I do appreciate, you don't appreciate Bettman for much. But I do appreciate them even looking at avenues to happen. I mean, and you're talking about, not getting this done. I mean, think about it. Even next year is probably in jeopardy of the games coming back, in the normal realm of what we're used to. I mean, most likely no crowds in the beginning. If you can even start a next season. So say they just scrap this season, which will likely happen. And then you're looking at next season. How do you even begin to entertain that? Like you said, I mean, if there's no vaccine at that point and it's still lingering around where people are still dying from it and still getting it, and obviously you're concerned with it starting back up in the fall, which obviously you're getting into the season again where, the flu season, and where it could start to build again. If they're going to put a product out there on the ice, and this goes for any of the major sport leagues, you just wonder how they're going to do that with crowds. I mean, are they going to limit the amount of people, if you're going to have them in at all, limit the amount of fans that you can have in an arena in a certain section? Okay, we'll have 10 in this section, and you have to sit like however many seats away from each other, and each person has to wear a mask if you're in the crowd. No food.
No, that can't happen. Like I said, it's everybody's got to be tested, and there's got to be a vaccine. That's the only way that happens, man. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, they could also, what do they have those temperature taking devices, right, where they use it on like your forehead or whatever. Like, I'm assuming that's going to be like the new normal, around here, whatever, getting on a plane or going into an arena or whatever it is. I mean, that's going to happen for a while until they do come up with this vaccine. I mean, they're going to be doing that kind of thing if they want to get back to normal, going into buildings, businesses, not only just, hockey and sports. That's going to be something that we're dealing with. And I guess if they're going to have these type of temperature scanning devices and allow us in, I guess once you're in and you show that these people don't have temperatures, although just having a temperature doesn't mean, because a lot of people are asymptomatic anyway. So you wonder if that even matters, right?
Yeah, it's going to be it's really going to be like identification papers. You're going to have to show that you were tested.